I consider myself a passive observer when it comes to popular music. So every now and then I like to check the top 50 US and top 50 world playlists on Spotify to see what people are listening to. I have no personal interest in this music, it doesn't do anything for me, but I like to keep myself aware of the pop landscape because I think it very much reflects the current cultural zeitgeist and mindsets of the people around me, as I drift further and further away from them like a rogue planet through outer space. A common topic for me and my friends is how much more formulaic this music gets with every passing year. It always seems like pop cannot get any more monotonous and predictable until it does, and you wonder who is actually listening to or enjoying any of this stuff. With every song on the charts alternating between a couple extremely basic sounds, being structured exactly the same way, having one of 5 or so chord progressions, and topically residing somewhere in the vicious, head-spinning cycle of present-day relationships. And we're still very much in that place lyrically. I don't see those topics ever shifting at all, especially with the state of divorce rates and general discontentment. However, even though the exhausting subject matter isn't going to change, there has been a shift as of late in terms of the genres of the music being propagated by the musical industrial complex. For my entire life up to this point, pop music has been based on electronic beats and synthesizers. From all the way back in the 90s up to the early 2020s, electronic pop has dominated the charts along with hip-hop, and these kinds of music are almost always made on computers. It's almost synonymous with the technological revolution. We are progressing in the same way that our technology is, and therefore our music should reflect that. But if you go on the main top 50 playlists on Spotify right now, you don't see a lot of that kind of music. Sure, you've got your Drakes, your Weekends, your Lady Gagas, your ever-present icons, but mostly what you see is a lot of songs by regular-looking people going by their own names, making music that is kind of homely and old-fashioned. You've got Alex Warren, Chappelle Roan, Gigi Perez, Raven Lenae, Teddy Murph, Leon Thomas, Riley Green, Zach Top, a ton of literally who seem to be coming out of the woodwork in droves. A lot of these artists tend to pull from country music or from an extremely generic soft rock sound, and nearly all their tracks are being based on guitars and drums rather than beats and synths. There's a lot of country music up there. Country music has been huge recently. You've got major stars going full cowboy mode, and this whole style is based on a straightforward, bare-bones band approach. And not only that, but there are a lot of actual old songs on the chart too. Right now, Fleetwood Mac's Dreams is on there, a very country-inspired soft rock song. Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls has been on it for a while. It's not there right now, but I know Every Breath You Take by The Police has been a huge song for the normies as of late. It's a lot of music that will be more fitting at a bar than at a nightclub. And this strikes me as a substantial shift, one which I'm not sure how long will last, but it seems like as of right now, the majority of people would rather listen to music that sounds more organic rather than hype dance and club bangers. Songs that harken back to a time before those other styles were even around. Now, this kind of longing for the past is not out of the ordinary. In the 80s, for example, the Doors were bigger than they ever were 20 years before in their heyday, and huge artists like Elvis Costello were stylizing themselves like the king of rock and roll had 30 years prior. Resurrecting the past in order to build the future is a common method that musicians utilize to move the course of music forward. However, in order to progress music, you have to merge the old together with something else in order to create something new. I would argue that a lot of these new hits by the artists I mentioned are a complete reversion to the past, in that they aren't intended to go anywhere new. Rather, they only work to preserve the old. This once again is ordinary and expected here and there. What is out of the ordinary is seeing this type of nostalgia on such a widespread scale. Take for example the song Die With A Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. This song has been dominating the charts recently, and all it is a simple duet backed by an extremely regular sounding band. The video for this song says it all, with Gaga looking like Dolly Parton and Bruno looking like generic country guy. Couldn't they have made him look like somebody? Like, why is it only her? This whole production is an obvious ode to the past. Nothing about this song brings anything fresh to the table or means to. It doesn't introduce any production techniques or do anything we haven't heard thousands of times before. Its sole purpose is to transport listeners to an idealized time 40 or 50 years ago. And by doing so, it has absolutely decimated the charts. Now, you could make the obvious argument that this style reversion is simply because nobody in the industry has any idea where to go at this point, and the river of ideas is profoundly dry. And I would say you are profoundly right, and that the industry's river has always been dry because they aren't the ones who come up with the big ideas. It's always grassroots innovators and visionaries who spring out of the underground who determine the course of the future. Real artists. If we just had the industry, we would have nothing of value. We are essentially waiting for another big idea to come from the underground so that it can be commodified and mass-produced by the industry. But in addition to this present lack of ideas, I do think there are also deeper cultural factors at play here. Reasons why this style shift is resonating so much with the public. Perhaps this trend toward more personal, low-key sounds is a reflection of a hunger for intimate contact in this modern world of distractions, self-absorption, and isolation. Or the emphasis on guitar-based music and country music could be viewed as a perceived need to reclaim the identity that we believe our country formerly had before we were so fractured, to go back to the good old days. I also think it has something to do with the way we use the internet as a nostalgia machine. There are vast communities on YouTube and elsewhere completely dedicated to preserving moments in time, whether it's childhood experiences with a video game or the legacy of a TV show. Whatever it is that you have cherished memories of and feel the need to protect from the ruthlessness of time and change. A lot of people grew up listening to The Police and Goo Goo Dolls and Fleetwood Mac. This is the music of our parents, some of which they inherited from their parents and preserved on account of their own longing for nostalgia. And now the current generation is modeling our music on those timeless sounds in an effort to maintain some sort of relationship with who we believe we are. Maybe some of us are looking to preserve this old music the same way we wish to preserve lovers, unconsciously grasping onto them through the music to feel like they won't leave us, to feel like we'll be able to keep them forever. Whatever the case may be, it's a counterintuitive development because I think a lot of us, myself included, have been assuming music would only be sounding more advanced as the years went on, more in the direction hyperpop was trying to lead us at the beginning of the decade. But no, it seems like we refuse to give up the things we view as innately human. In the age of AI slop, when it's getting harder and harder to differentiate robots from people, there is this pushback against the technological. Maybe we all don't want this high-tech future for ourselves. I think all these issues are factors that tie into why these old styles are becoming more prominent again right now. Personally, I hope this phase is short and music does get more high-tech soon. I think some of the most exciting new music is being created by basement DJs who are doing awesome things with software, and that it's just a matter of time before technology brings along new ways to craft sound. Like so many others, I'm so unbelievably bored with bland current pop being shoved in my face all the time, and I think we all know something needs to change. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too boring of a topic since I'm using this video mostly to test the levels on my new mic. My advice would be, don't listen to any of this shit, go listen to something good.